let's talk some games. Now, we are breaking into week 3 of the NFL this week, and we have a lot to get to. Now, this is, dare I say, desperation week for some teams, Scotty. We have some 0-2 teams that are not wanting to go 0-3. So we have some interesting things happening there with those teams trying to just get on the board. By the way, just some really quick tidbits. 0-2 teams over the last 10 years have gone 52, 33, and 1 against the spread in week 3, which is 61%, Scotty. So that's the teams that are going into this week. You got the Giants, you got the Titans, the Giants plus 6.5, Titans -3, Colts -1, Broncos plus 7 plus 7. Well, 6.5 now. Panthers plus 5.5. So you have some teams there that you might be potentially getting some value if you end up betting some of those. Now, some of the betting numbers coming in early. We have lopsides in the DraftKings Sportsbook. 84% of the tickets are on the Raiders. Hey!
Let's go. Panchunu.
What's going on? Welcome in. Who is your team and where you're from? Like to get to know you a little bit better. Welcome into the ActionLab Sports Channel. Appreciate you being here. So, Scotty, look at these numbers. 84% of the tickets are on the Raiders -5.5. 82% of the tickets are on the Bucks -6.5. 79% of the tickets are on Chiefs -3.5. 75% on the Bills -5. 70 on both the Saints and the Packers. Saints -2.5. Packers +3. So a lot of money pouring in, or a lot of tickets pouring in on those teams. So just to set the stage for everything happening here. By the way, 0-2 teams. I actually forgot a couple. Ravens -1, Rams +7.5, Jags +5.5, Bengals -7.5. So again, against the spread, 61% if you're betting on 0-2 teams in week 3.
Did someone say Raiders? I think this will be the year of all the Cholo teams, which happens to be the teams I root for. Dodgers and Raiders. Oh, and Lakers.
Man, that's a hell of a lineup there, P3.
That is, I don't think it's going to be your year. What? It's not going to be the Lakers' year. They just got a year older. And the Raiders, good win last week. Good win.
Yeah.
The Raiders aren't going anywhere. Dodgers have a good player right here. I hear they got a good player.
He's all right. He's all right. So, by the way, and it's only, Scotty, it's only week 2, and one of my hot takes has already hit. One of my hot takes, as of week 2, is already. I should be Nostradamus, I guess.
What hot take?
Bryce Young gets benched. The Bryce Young gets benched. I mean, did I think it would happen this soon? No. But here we are, week 2, and we have the Red Rifle coming in to save the Panthers. But yeah, I already nailed one of my hot takes.
You got it done.
Got it done. Let's see what else we can get. I don't have faith that the Rams are going to be the best team in LA, so I'm going to lose that one out. But anyways, Bryce Young benched, Scotty.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good situation for Bryce. I mean, Bryce Young's played poorly. That team sucks. The roster
awful.
Sucks. The roster's awful, but Bryce Young has been equally to blame in all of that. Something's happened where his confidence is shot. He's not comfortable. He can't make the easy throws even.
Is he the Markelle Fultz of the NFL?
They literally moved the line in the direction of the Panthers when they made the move to Andy Dalton. Like, that's how bad it is for Bryce Young right now. Andy, I'm 800 years old, Red Rocket, Dalton. Move the line in a good direction for the Panthers over last year's number 1 overall pick that you moved up for and sold the farm for. Is he Markelle Fultz? Maybe. I mean, Markelle Fultz kind of bounced back a little bit. Obviously, was nowhere near what anyone would expect him to be, but at least made a career out of it. Like Bryce Young right now,
You got the
he's out of
yips.
Carolina. I mean, there's all things have it. Like obviously, Baker went through some shit. Now Baker and
Sam
playing
Darnold.
well in Tampa. Sam Darnold. It's been 2 games,
Both-
so I'm not ready to have a crown him yet. But yeah,
Both former Panthers quarterbacks.
Both-
I'm sensing a trend.
Both have a
Yeah.
common denominator. They left Carolina and they're having some success. Like there is something to a shit team that has nobody on it. So yeah, it is what it is. So
SCG. I think he's 37, like you. I wish I was 37. I am not 37, unfortunately, but I'll take it. I must look really young.
Scotty's 40. No,
I'm not 40.
Um,
Not even close.
so I nailed
11 months away.
one, and I'm on my way to another one. My other prediction was Jacksonville was going to start 1-5 and finish last in the division. They're 0-2 to start. But I'll wait and see.
That's what happens when you have a bottom 5 coach.
Jacksonville looked bad. Last week.
Well, let's keep in mind Jacksonville should have won week 1. They literally had that game in their hands and coughed it up at the goal line to go up 24-7 late third against the Dolphins. So they did look bad last week, and Trevor Lawrence threw for about as many yards in the first half as I did last week.
There was wasn't there a punter that threw the ball further than him in the first
I
half?
think there was a punter that had more because he only had like 10.
Jack
He had
Fox?
like 10 or 16 yards or something and a half.
16.
I think it was Jack Fox in Detroit.
Yeah, threw the ball and ended up getting a conversion and longer than 16 yards, which is wild. So crazy. But that all being said, on to week 3. We have the Ravens and the Cowboys here. Ravens are visiting Dallas. They are 1.5 point favorites in Dallas. Total set to 48.5. Also, the Dallas Cowboys money line plus 102. So basically, just even money there. Baltimore minus 122 on their money line just to win the game. So, Scotty, this one is an interesting one because you have the 0-2 Baltimore Ravens that, and Cincinnati's also in this boat as well. But 0-2 Baltimore Ravens here trying to get a dub here in the Cowboys, who did not look good last week against the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of reports surprised that Baltimore is favored in this one, like coming off obviously a home loss to the Raiders and the week 1 loss to the Chiefs. That Cowboys game was bad last week. And the Cowboys defensively rely on getting pressure on the quarterback. But you know what happens if you fly up and Micah Parsons flies up the line on the outside against Lamar Jackson? He steps up and takes off. Against Lamar, you got to like sit back and like kind of let him survey the field a little bit. You want Lamar to throw the ball, quite frankly. He's not good at that. I don't think this is a great matchup for Dallas. You have a desperate Baltimore team coming in, and you have Lamar Jackson, who in his career is 20-3 against the NFC. Teams that he doesn't see often, aka the NFC, he seems to dominate for whatever reason. Like last year, even remember that San Fran game. They went on the road and dominated San Fran. They beat the Rams last year on the road. So, or maybe that could have been at home. That was a close game in overtime. But 20-3 in his career against NFC teams. I think this will be a good game. Obviously, both teams need this win quite a bit. I think it's going to be a good matchup. I don't think the Cowboys' offense has been in sync through 2 games at all this year. I actually think Baltimore's offense has played probably a little better than Dallas's offense thus far. But with that said, Dallas usually rebounds after ugly losses. They usually come back and play at least pretty well. So with that, I do have the Cowboys I'm teasing the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys in a teaser, teasing them up to 7.5. Who did I pair them with? I already forgot.
Let's see. I forgot to.
Was it?
You have them paired.
I think it was Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings. I teased up to 8. So +8 Minnesota, +7.5 Cowboy teaser this weekend. If you don't know what a teaser is, if you're new to it, teasing involves 2 or more teams where you add points. In this case, a typical teaser adds 6 points. So I get Dallas from +1.5 to +7.5, and Minnesota who's +2 to +8. Usually on teasers, you want to pass through the 2 key numbers being 3 and 7. So you want to look for numbers that are in between 1.5 and 2.5, or 8.5 or 9.5 down if you like the favorite. But in this one, I think it's going to be a good game. I think I think the Ravens win this game though, but I'm hoping it's close enough where it's a score or less.
Hey, welcome in bets for week 3. We're talking bets for week 3. Welcome in. It's Hole.
It's Hole.
It's Hole. Welcome
it's
in.
Hoel. Like Noel. Hoel.
The first Hoel.
I think that's how it goes.
Yeah. Welcome in. Who's your team and where are you from? Like to get to know you a little bit. All right. So there's your first. So you already kind of teased a little bit. But there you go. Welcome in. Saints Eagles. Pick a TD score. Saints Eagles. I mean, Alvin Kamara has been scoring like crazy. So I think
Jeez,
I bet Saquon probably gets one. I think that's going to be that could be a high scoring game.
I mean, maybe Jalen Hurts.
We're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
So,
Kamara, my boy. Just kidding. Chiefs, welcome in. A lot of Chiefs fans coming in recently.
Let's go.
Scotty down here is a Chiefs fan.
Let's go.
Yes, the Chiefs fans pop in and then all of a sudden they disappear real quick and then they never come back.
I don't know why.
They see how shitty of a Chiefs fan Scotty is.
I am not close to a shitty. I am maybe the greatest Chiefs fan outside of my son, who's diehard.
Real quick, couple other notes on this one. The Cowboys have allowed 40 plus in 2 straight home games, including dating back to the playoffs. Baltimore has a plus 222 yard differential so far. Could be 2-0 potentially, given some circumstances. They were in one score games in the first 2 weeks of the season. Lamar Jackson 18-1 against the spread versus NFC, and he's won 8 in a row against the spread against the NFC. Dallas is 1-7 in its last 8 as a dog. Baltimore has better coach, definitely better coach, and we'll see how the defense ends up panning out.
It's a low bar.
It's a low bar, yeah, true. So a lot of stats and a lot of numbers want to tell you that Baltimore should be in line to get a dub here, but I'm with you, Scotty. If I'm going to do anything with this game, it's teasing. It's teasing the Cowboys. Number 2. Lamar Jackson's over total for rushing yards could be interesting as well. I think it was at 48.5. I think it's gone up. But I liked it at 48.5 at -115. Now it's, I think, a little bit higher. So other than that, yeah, it's going to be, I think, one of the better games. I'm excited to see the Cowboys bounce back a little bit because I think they have to, right? After that embarrassing loss, they weren't excited to do that with the Saints, right? Like
they're usually very good at bouncing back. Give them that.
Let's go.
Thank you, the first Hoel.
Welcome to the Action Lab again. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you join the Discord if you are new. The link is in the chat. We are talking football even when we're not live. We're live every Wednesday and Sunday nights. We do Sunday Night Football live watch party, and we do a little bit of bingo, play some games, have some fun. Are Mark Andrews and Kelsey still premier tight ends? Yeah. I mean, I think Mark Andrews has battled injuries, which is what kind of holds him back. And Kelsey, I think that there's just more weapons now that they're utilizing. Rashee Rice has kind of had a nice start to the season. Like last year, they needed to rely on him because there was so much there wasn't any talent there from a wide receiver standpoint, and they just leaned on Kelsey. So now they have a little more help, but I still think those are two top tight ends from a fantasy perspective. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Mark Andrews finally woke up a little bit in the second half last week against the Raiders, but Kelsey's had Isaiah Likely obviously had a massive first game against the Chiefs. He was the main target there. The Chiefs are going to get exploited. That's where the Chiefs are going to get exploited all year is tight ends and running backs against their linebackers, who we're really missing Willie Gay in coverage because we don't cover very well. Nick Bolton's a disaster in coverage. That's a different topic. Is Kelsey washed? I don't think Kelsey's washed yet. Keep in mind, he had like a 41-yard catch this past week that came back due to a penalty where he actually faked a lateral to Rashee Rice on the sideline, like a pass lateral, like he did the other time where it got turned back last year to Kadarius Toney because Kadarius was offsides. Like one of those, which would have been cool to see. But it would have been tragic if he did that again. They scored again and it got called back again. So I'm glad he didn't do that. Listen, they're still doubling Travis. They're gonna double Travis, especially on key downs like third down. He's always gonna get doubled, even with Rashee Rice. Not having Hollywood Brown's big for the Chiefs this year. It's really unfortunate that he lasted one play in the preseason. But what do you do? So they're just gonna roll on. All right.
What's up, NKP? Can I get a TD score for Bengals Redskins? Or if the Redskins is still existed, then yes. But are we covering that one tonight?
No, we are not.
When that?
Not
Okay.
one of the top 8 matchups. Well, one of the top 7 matchups because we have to throw your Broncos in there, Chris.
Yeah. Obviously.
Honestly, that's a hard game to call a touchdown score. Commies don't really have anyone. Bengals don't really have a surefire one. Chase is
that's like asking about the Steelers Chargers TD score this week. There may not be one. There may not be one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you're reaching, maybe Zach Moss for the Bengals, maybe if you're gonna throw anybody out there, but it's maybe.
I honestly, I don't know if Jamar Chase finally wakes up and gets on the board. Dude's a mental mess, so not sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Ravens Cowboys. Let's dive into the next game of the week. Broncos and Bucks. Obviously, my Denver Broncos are in a tough spot here. Going to Tampa Bay to face Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Bucks. The line on this one, -6.5 in favor of Tampa Bay. Total set at 40. And the Broncos are a mess. There's injured players everywhere. McGlinchey, hasn't been playing well.
I'm not. Are you really?
No. I know. Wait. I know where you're. I don't. Stop.
Don't even. Stop. You brought this up.
No.
I can't believe you just.
I'm just saying I'm not saying they were losing this game even if those guys were healthy. I'm just saying it's even worse now that those guys are in. We're pulling guys off the.
What? McGlinchey's not even on the injury report.
He's not. He's out for like 4 weeks. He's on IR.
Oh well, maybe he's on IR, but McGlinchey's trash anyway, so who cares?
Yeah. So, anyways, the Broncos.
You guys are pretty healthy outside of McGlinchey. Who else is hurt?
We got a couple guys on defense that are hurt. We got what's his name?
Nick's
Browning?
ego. That's what's hurt.
Browning's hurt.
Browning may not. Yeah, maybe he played last week. He got hurt. Like it's not like
John Franklin Myers.
So yeah,
Who?
John Franklin Myers.
Bonix MVP.
Who?
Who else is hurt? Our pride. Hey. Yeah, that's right.
You
No,
guys- good for you for still having pride.
Yeah,
at this point.
You have to. You have to. It's a tough road, but we're riding it. But Broncos here.
You guys should make a trade for Russ.
Don't. I
think he's not. He's available probably because he's probably not going to play for Pittsburgh.
I'll pass. But
something Bo won't do.
Broncos in a tough spot here. I don't expect them to win this game. Honestly, against the spread, I kind of lean Broncos if this were 7. If this were a little bit higher, I think that they might be able to keep this one a little closer. But I think the Bucs have been playing some really good football the first couple weeks. And again, dating back to last season, Tampa Bay did some nice things getting into the playoffs, making a nice little run. But that being said, hey.
Thank you, NKP. NKP said that the first Joel is a fake fan. I don't know. Do you guys know each other?
Yeah, well, part of me thinks, I don't know. I think they do.
Are you the same? Are you a burner account?
I think there's a little burner action going potentially. Who knows?
Cool. Hey, we'll take the followers either way.
But yeah, Bo Nix has a lot to learn in the NFL. 11 for 36, 4 picks on passes more than 5 yards. It's not looking good for him. He has a lot to kind of reel in. And then also, too, the Broncos roster is just a flawed roster. There's just not enough there they just don't have the resources to make anything happen. But that being said, the Bucs, I don't want to spend too much time on this game. Bucs should win this game. This is kind of hovering around the line where I think it should be around 7, 6.5, 7, but I'm not touching this game at all. This is the Baker show. Baker will take care of business. Broncos will maybe keep it more competitive, but I don't think it's not worth it's not worth me putting money towards that to back that gamble.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the Bucs are off to a 2-0 start. Obviously, huge win against Detroit last week, but that game was a little masked. I mean, the yardage in that game was 463 to 216 in Detroit's favor. Like, you're not going to win a lot of games getting outgained by 250 yards, like Tampa Bay did in that game. Credit for winning the game and shutting them down in the red zone and things of that nature, but that's a little smoke and mirrors. Obviously, they beat a Washington team that was starting, rookie week 1. So I'm not sold on Tampa Bay being anything more than kind of similar to what they were last year. Maybe a 10-7 squad, something like that. So I don't think they're unbeatable. But Bo Nix has potentially been the worst quarterback outside of maybe Bryce Young in the NFL this far. Like, it's been that. I mean, truthfully, it's been that bad. It's way worse than I expected. I think it's worse than anybody expected. He doesn't look comfortable. Last week played just as bad as he did week 1. Even the 50 of his yards last week came on a trick play. So I don't know how much you can put into stock. He's got to be better.
Everything's got to be better.
Receivers got to be better. The offensive line's got to be better. The defense is trying.
The bright spot was the special teams. Special teams played actually okay.
Well, that's a problem. Anytime you talk about a game and you're like, the bright spot was special teams.
That's what I'm talking. That's how bad it was.
It's not.
It's
how not a good
bad
situation.
It was.
If I would, even saying that, if I were to bet a side, the right side to bet historically in this game would be on the Broncos. But Bo Nix has been so bad, I can't right now. And I don't even dislike Bo Nix. He went to Oregon. I want to cheer for him, but right now he's lost. They probably need to change the offense more to what he did in Denver, but Sean Payton's, or not Denver, at Oregon. But Sean Payton's not going to do that. Sean Payton does what he does and makes the quarterback fit into his system.
And again, 0-2 teams in week 3 have gone 52, 33, and 1, 61% against the spread. So you're going to see a lot of these leans that we're talking about.
And maybe you don't know the answer to this. What if Does that include when 2-0-2 teams play each other, or just when an 0-2 team plays somebody that's 1-1 or 2-0?
I believe I don't actually. That's a good question. I think that's just in general. I think they might. I don't think it's Owen. I don't know. I don't know.
My guess is it's not when 2-0-2 teams play each other, because that.
Yeah.
Guess what? In that scenario, one team wins and one team loses, so there's nothing to be analyzed there for a trend.
Welcome in, keep close. Welcome in, tickle evil. Scotty is a bow lever.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep. All right, let's get to the next one here. We have the Lions and the Cardinals coming in for the next matchup that we will be previewing. Now, this team, this Lions team, going into a Cardinals team that looked really good with. I see what you did here with the graphic too. By the way,
did you make that graphic, Chris?
I see what you did here with the graphic with baby.
I couldn't help myself.
Baby Kyler, little
He's
baby,
adorable over there.
I mean, the only smaller quarterback is Bryce Young, I think, in the NFL, right? But yeah, Kyler Murray here, who obviously balled out. Yeah, he looked good. He started looking for his brand new toy, Marvin Harrison Jr. So looked really, really good coming into this one. Now, the spread here, Detroit -3, total set at 51.5, and Arizona's plus money, just over plus money, with plus 124 on the money line, just over even money, I should say. But as of right now, at a certain point, I think this went to Cardinals +3, and it's currently Cardinals +3, which
that's what it says here.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought I don't know. I was thinking 2.5 because that's where I thought it was earlier. But anyways, +3 for the Cardinals at home. Meanwhile, the Lions, trying to figure out and rebound from last week because they had a little bit of struggles as well. So, Scotty, Lions, Cardinals, what are your thoughts?
I'll start with the Lions. I mean, big expectations this year. One of the 2 or 3 favorites in the NFC, obviously, to represent the Super Bowl. Haven't played up to those standards yet. I mean, they're very close to being 0-2. Obviously, an overtime win, Week 1 against the Rams. But with that being said, like I just talked about last week with the Bucs, they absolutely dominated them as far as yardage, time of possession, yards per play, all those metrics. The Lions did their work. The Lions' problem right now is in the red zone, and their offensive coordinator is getting a little too cute. I don't say this often, Chris, but I think they need to get back to their roots of running the football. Especially down there. That's how they won in overtime. They got the ball in overtime against the Rams, and they just handed the ball off and won the game, marched down the field and won. It's not that they can't throw the ball. I respect Goff and Amon-Ra, and, Sam Laporta hasn't been much of a factor, but, obviously a really good tight end, but they need to run the ball a little bit. The defense is kind of what the defense has been playing all right. It's not going to be an elite defense, but they can be good enough to hang in games. Cardinals, have looked good thus far. And I like the Cardinals coming in this year. In our preview, I thought people were sleeping on the Cardinals a little bit. Obviously, they took a beat-up Rams team last week and just obliterated them from the start with Marvin Harrison jumping off in that first quarter. And Kyler played phenomenal, and everything went right for them, and the Rams looked like a mess. But even Week 1, they were hanging with Buffalo on the road. So obviously a Buffalo team that's looking really good thus far. So, I was close to making this a bet of the week. I would take Arizona +3. I think this is going to be a really good game. I would take the plus points with an Arizona team at home that's playing very, very confident football right now. And I think Detroit's kind of trying to feel themselves out and get into the rhythm that they were at the end of last year. And sometimes that's hard to get to, especially off the jump. I think they'll eventually make it there. They got a lot of talent. Jamison Williams has been playing well. Jahmyr Gibbs is a stud. So I think they'll get there, but I don't know if they're there right now. I think Arizona's played better football thus far this year, and I'm getting plus points with the team that's played better thus far at home. It's not one of my bets of the week, but it was probably, if I had 5 picks, this would be the 5th.
Yeah. And the look ahead on this game last time, after going into last week, the look ahead was Lions minus 4.5. So, I think that this kind of has shifted back down. A lot of people are kind of, taking that and they moved it back down to Lions minus 3. And now, if it gets to 2.5, maybe you start thinking about Lions again. I am kind of leaning your way as well with the Cardinals. 3 seems like a lot here. And I think that Arizona is just in a nice rhythm, whereas the Lions are kind of trying to find their rhythm. I do think Jahmyr Gibbs will have a decent day. I think his over rushing and receiving yards at minus 115, 79.5 total could be interesting because I think they do need to incorporate him more, especially for all you fantasy owners out there, because that's something that I have. I have Jahmyr Gibbs and I need him to start popping off a little bit. But I think they use him a little bit more. And I think also too, you had Aiden Hutchinson last year, 4 sacks. Who went crazy last week. And I think that's going to be a little tougher. Kyler's really good at moving around and kind of evading some of those as well, which is why I think they'll have some success in keeping him upright. But I'm kind of with you, Scotty. Kind of with you at 3. I kind of like the Cardinals here as far as against the spread. But interesting game for sure. Who would have thought that we would be looking at this Cardinals-Lions game being like, man, Cardinals feel good.
There's some good matchups this week. When I was picking the 8, there was a pretty clear 7 and then Broncos that are pretty good matchups.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, agreed. Let's get to the next one. Texans at Vikings. All right, here we go. Texans at Vikings. We got the Houston Texans, 2.5-point favorites on the road. Total at 46.5. We got the money line for Houston minus 142. Minnesota at home is plus 120. It means you have to bet 100 and bet 142 to win 100 if you want Houston, and bet 100 to win 120 if you want Minnesota. Nico Collins has a DNP and Mixon status up in the air. We did see the Mixon on Sunday Night Football. The issue with his ankle that whether or not he looked bad when we saw it. It wasn't great, Scotty, when we saw that twist. So
the hip drop tackle.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see, the health of Mixon, but still, going into this one, this is anytime you guys see like 2.5, 1.5, 2.5, or 7.5, 8, some of those, you want to look at teasers. I told you this last week when we were breaking down some of the best bets of the week. And Scotty, you have a teaser candidate. You already talked about it. Go ahead and tell everyone why you like Vikings, because I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tease the Vikings up. Both these teams 2-0. Vikings might come with an asterisk because one of those was a Giants team that doesn't count as a win. But beat the 49ers last week. Huge win. Sam Darnold, like we talked about a little bit earlier, has been balling out this far. It's in Minnesota. They're feeling good. I don't even feel like they have a ton of pressure on them. Like, they're just riding this wave. Whereas Houston came in with expectations. They're 2-0, but I don't know that they've played that well, quite frankly. Like, watching that Sunday night game, I didn't come away overly impressed with the Texans. I think the Bears and Caleb Williams and that offense is clearly still trying to figure things out and not very good right now. And the Texans, because of that, were able to escape with a win. I came out of that thinking like the Texans are a little too high on themselves right now. The 2-0 start where they haven't played, in my mind, that impressive of football. I think Minnesota's played better football. They're getting points at home, tease them up to 8.5. I really, really like that side of things quite a bit. I think this will be a good game. I think Minnesota could win very easily outright. I think Houston, this is a letdown spot for Houston. They have, I believe, Jacksonville next week, division game that they got to get ready for. So this is a pretty big letdown spot for them. Obviously, Justin Jefferson is kind of up in the air right now, but it sounds like he's going to play. That'll be key. I would like Justin Jefferson to be in there for this bet. It sounds like he's going to play after getting injured last week in their win against San Fran. But if he's there, give me Vikings plus 8.5 and a teaser.
Boom. Love the teaser. And two things can be true. You can like the Vikings plus 8.5 and a teaser like I do, and you could also lean towards Houston at minus 2.5 at the same time and take that. Because they could win a close one. Vikings do like playing close games on occasion. Joker, welcome in. You were talking about your boys. Good to have you in, Joker, as always. The Texans have never beaten the Vikings, I think. Is that true? I don't know.
Could be. I mean, how many times have they played them?
Yeah.
I don't know how relevant that is to this, but
no.
It's
and
an interesting stat.
The Vikings are coming off that impressive win with the 49ers. And their offense cooked. That was one thing. The only thing that kind of makes me hesitant with the Vikings, especially when it comes to just the 2.5, which is why I'm more comfortable with the teasing, is the fact that their defense got cooked a little more than the final score indicated. They gave up like 5.9 yards per play with Jordan Mason and Brock Purdy. And they were kind of just like bleeding a little bit during that game. So, when it comes to this offense of Houston, you have CJ and company coming in. They have a lot of weapons that they can use at their disposal to kind of move the ball. I'm a little bit worried on just the defense of Minnesota more so than anything else. But either way, I mean, you could bet Houston minus 2.5 and also tease the Vikings with another team up to 8.5, and both could hit. You just don't.
I mean, Chris, do you think the Jets defense is good?
I think the Jets defense is good.
Okay, they gave up 5.7 to the 49ers in week 1.
Didn't the 49ers have did they have everybody? What was their injury report
they didn't
last
have
week?
McCaffrey. They didn't have McCaffrey
Either week.
So McCaffrey hasn't played.
Either week they didn't have it.
I mean, they had Debo week 1, but when did Debo go down in this game?
I
don't
think
even know.
I want
Honestly, Debo's.
Yeah, I can't remember when Debo went down. I think he might have gone down. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So it'll be fun.
I mean, Debo had 8 catches for 110 yards against the Vikings, so he was around for quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
So really, they had everybody, Chris.
Ayuk, where's Ayuk been, by the way?
Where has Ayuk been?
Has he been playing?
Same place as Chase. He's been with Jamar Chase and trying to be in football shape with no training camp or preseason.
Yeah, he dropped a touchdown. That was week 1, I think, right? Against the Jets. He had
I think so.
Back corner touchdown that he dropped. I think I remember because Peyton Manning was just yelling at him. Remember, Peyton was like, "That's why you're go to training camp, sign a contract, and get in there and practice."
Yeah.
Old, like, get off my lawn, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I love get off my lawn, Peyton Manning. He's fantastic. Yeah. So there you go. Jamar Chase crying and costing his team yards. Yeah, that happened.
That was epic. I don't even know what he was crying about. I think he wanted like a hip drop tackle. It wasn't a hip drop tackle. Not even close. Like, that dude's crazy.
That dude's nuts. He's up until this year, I feel like he's been like kind of head on his shoulders okay. This year, end of last year, going into this year, I think he's kind of been a little bit more diva than most people are used to seeing from him. All right, there you go. Texans Vikings in the books. Let's get to the next one. Jags and Bills. Jaguars visiting Buffalo. Buffalo -5. The 5-point favorites in this one. Let me make sure that that's still where it's at. I believe that's still 4.5. It's actually dropped to 4.5 as of FanDuel Sportsbook at 9:16 Mountain Time on a Wednesday. Poor Jags. Yeah, Jags going into Buffalo against the team that, honestly, the Bills haven't necessarily looked as sharp, and we know that, but they're still, hanging in there. They're still doing things that, they're 2-0, right? They're doing some nice things. They're plus 27 differential on the season when we came into the season thinking, all right, they're going to be good, but they're going to take a step back. Well, they're still playing some pretty good football. Meanwhile, Jacksonville, on the other hand, have had some struggles. They've really, the last game, they had some opportunities to score the football and just fell short, just could not get a rhythm. You had offensive issues, struggles in the first half with Trevor Lawrence throwing the football, only 16 yards in the first half. The Jags have not looked good as of late. 0-2 on the season so far. But prime time in Buffalo. Scotty, hit me with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people probably see this line and instantly. I don't know if that was one of your percentages on heavy bets this week, but I imagine a lot of tickets are on Buffalo.
Let me take a look.
Jaguars 0-2, reeling, ugly game against Cleveland last week, who I don't think a lot of people are that high on Cleveland.
75% of the tickets on the Bills.
Yeah. So, and that makes sense. You have a Buffalo team that I think they've looked all right. I mean, week 1, Josh Allen was sensational. Week 2, they kind of just got ahead. I mean, their defense scored. Tua was throwing picks left and right, even before his concussion, unfortunately. And they were kind of handed that one, but they took control of it, and they did what they needed to do to dominate that game, getting a 31-10 win on the road at Miami. So on a short week on a Thursday night. So you got Trevor Lawrence, who last week looked like trash in the first half. Second half, he certainly played better, threw for over 200 yards in the second half. But still, 14 of 30 completion, under 50% completion percentage. Like, you don't see that in today's NFL. Like, under 60% is unheard of almost. You have to sit for the season at, like, probably around 62, 63% minimum just to be an effective quarterback in the league. 14 of 30. Obviously, they had a long one to Brian Thomas Jr. for a touchdown last week, so that was a big part of that. But I feel like, one, you have a desperate Jacksonville team. You obviously don't want to get to 0-3. Your trend, Chris, your favorite trend of 0-2, and you have a Buffalo team that this could be a look-ahead spot, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
After this, Buffalo goes to Baltimore, to Houston, and to the New York Jets. 3 straight road games after this that they got to be looking ahead to Baltimore, Houston, and New York, division rivals. So, with that, I would actually lean Jacksonville. Like, Buffalo just finds ways to, like, screw up games they should dominate sometimes. This feels like one maybe they should dominate, but I have a weird feeling that this is going to be a very close game that's comes down to the wire. And if I'm not going to bet it because I can't trust Jacksonville, and Josh Allen might just go Superman on them. But if I had to lean, I'd take Jacksonville +5.
Yeah, I agree with you here. This was 5.5, and I would have loved it at 5.5 for Jacksonville. I mean, the Bills scored 30 points in back-to-back games to open the season, but like their offense, it's been like good, but it feels like it's missing something. Like they benefited from great field position against the Miami, in Miami, and they had some time getting in the rhythm against the bad Arizona defense. Like now they're taking a Jags team that's like, yeah, I think that unlucky week 1 and then week 2 kind of just, yeah, they just dug themselves a hole in the first half offensively. But I think the Jags might be able to score in this matchup. Their back's up against the wall, and they're in their division. They're 0-2 along with 3 other teams. So a win here would be big if the other 2 teams kind of fall short. But yeah, I think this is a good spot to take the points when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think you could be looking at a Bills team saying like this is kind of a no-brainer. All they got to do is win by a touchdown. That's it. I think I lean Jags as well. I didn't bet this. It's not my official bet of the week. Definitely would love it at 5.5, but now it's down to 4.5. And the more it creeps down, I mean, the more this gets down to like 3.5, 3. I don't think it will.
It hasn't crossed the key number yet. 5.5 to 4.5 is pretty arbitrary, frankly. Because how often does a team win by 5?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, this would need to go down some more, and there would need to be more action on Jacksonville to push this number. But yeah, I still Jacksonville. It's at 4.5 now. It's a stay away from me, but
I mean, think about it. You just said 75% of the tickets are in Buffalo, and it's moved from 5.5 to 4.5.
Yeah, it's trending towards the Jags for sure.
All the bets are going on the Bills, yet Vegas is moving the line towards Jacksonville. Yep. That is a horrendous spot to be on the Bills.
Telling you everything you need to know. So there you go. Let's see. Trevor Lawrence, a franchise quarterback, laughing, Joker. Those poor Jags. Yeah.
Trevor's just not. He doesn't inspire like confidence. He's just too like. I don't know. Like his vibe to me is just kind of like, I want a dude that's like fired up and passionate and putting it all on the line. And he just kind of seems like sunshine, like a little just whatever out there. I don't know.
A little too nonchalant about like.
It just doesn't feel like he would do whatever it takes to win. And maybe that's unfair, but that's just the vibe I get from him.
Yeah. I'm not selling my stock quite. Not that my stock was ever high on. Like it was for a little bit, and then I was just like, oh yeah, he's just there. I'm not exactly selling my stock on Trevor Lawrence, but I don't know. There's some.
Is Allen a bottom 5 QB? Probably a bottom 3. Yeah, that dude's terrible.
Absolutely. All right, let's get on to the next one. Chiefs at Falcons. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fun one here. Chiefs and Falcons. These two teams starting out the season pretty good. Got the Chiefs 2-0. You got the Falcons 1-1. But I mean, there's been some hype around the Falcons. We've been hyping the Falcons quite a bit leading into the season, Scotty. We've been ATC or ATL Lab Falcons here because we love the Falcons so much. But your Kansas City Chiefs going into Atlanta are 3.5-point favorites. Over under set at 46.5. KC is minus 175 on the money line. Atlanta plus 145 here in this one. Now, this one is, I believe, one of your best bets of the week.
It is. Do you want me to talk about that?
Talk about it. Let's hear what you got.
Listen, I just have a weird feeling about this game. You have an Atlanta team that got a massive win, probably in a situation where they had no business necessarily winning that game, but a blunder down the stretch from Philadelphia where maybe they should have run the ball, or worst case scenario, Saquon Barkley catches that ball and the game's over on Monday night instead. But even with that, what was that Philly defense on that last drive? That was unbelievably easy for Atlanta.
Yes.
Like way too easy. I mean, Kirk was finding guys down that left side that were wide open in that touchdown. Drake London was wide open. I mean, it just wasn't. I don't know what sort of defense they were playing.
Prevent defense, prevents wins.
Yeah, well, why would you? They've scored like one touchdown all day, and you're going to go prevent when they have to start at their own like 10? Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. But Atlanta gets some confidence from that game. You have a KC team that did not play good football last week, honestly. I thought they played way better against Baltimore than they did against Cincinnati. Now, part of that is we just seem to, whether it's a matchup issue or we just seem to fumble the bag against Miami or Cincinnati, I don't know. But we did not play well last week, and we're lucky to escape with a win last week. There's no doubt about that. But that's what they do, Chris. They win games where they got their like C- game against a team that plays great in a Cincinnati Bengals that's supposed to compete with them in the AFC. So I'll take the W. Now you go on the road. It just feels like a weird spot. The KC offense is still trying to kind of figure some things out. Obviously, Pacheco's out for 6 to 8 weeks. They did sign old friend alert Kareem Hunt this week to the practice squad. I don't expect him to play this week. I think he's going to get a little more of the game plan, a little more in game shape because he hasn't been on a roster thus far. So it's going to come down to our friend Steele, who did fumble against the Bengals, and Samaje Perine probably this week at running back. Not having Hollywood Brown is driving me insane. I think the Chiefs' offense, left tackle, is a massive issue right now, where the rookie second-rounder Kingsley played awful last week, got benched. Backup came in, and on 4th down and 6, where we got a huge gain, actually got a hands to the face. So I don't know that he handled it much better. So the offense needs to be more consistent. And historically, what the Chiefs do, Chris, is if they're up like a score and they get the ball and they can put a team away, it almost feels like I guarantee they will not. They just don't like to do that. Like if they're up in the game and they're like, we could bury them now, they're like, nah, instead we'll punt.
Just playing with your food.
They seem to like to do that and put me on a stressful level. It's fine. I can handle it, but it just seems to happen. So with that, and Atlanta has a lot of talent. They're coming in their own. Kirk looked comfortable on that last drive and kind of, that long touchdown pass in the second half. He finally looked like the Kirk that we know and love of old. Now, this is prime time, but maybe he got off the schneid last week.
Yep.
Because historically, you don't bet on primetime Kirk because this is a Sunday night game. But I did, and partially just because at least I'll win a bet if things don't go the way I want. I took Atlanta plus 3.5 here.
Okay. All right. Atlanta plus
Chiefs
3.5.
Chiefs win by a field goal.
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta plus 3.5. I think this is also, if I didn't bet this game particularly, but this is also a under candidate for me a little bit. So Falcons 6-3 to the under at home since 23, averaging 42 points. Patrick Mahomes 5-2 to the under in the last 7 against the NFC. 2 of those games were the over. One was 47. Falcons secondary is pretty good. KC road games averaged 39 points per game in 2023, which is the 6th lowest. And I think still Kirk Cousins is still trying to figure things out as well. Still not looking 100%, but like still kind of getting up to speed. I think he's getting there. But if anything, for me, Scotty, I think this could be an under candidate for myself if we're looking at the under 46.5. So slight lean to that. But otherwise, I kind of align with you a little bit more on the Falcons. If it's going to be a closer game, obviously you want that hook, which is that 0.5, and so you can get yourself out of any last-second field goals, right? But
from the best kicker in the NFL.
From the well, now that Justin Tucker has passed the torch on, Justin Tucker has been
it's 1A and 1B with Bucker and Brandon Aubrey.
It's
my two teams have the best.
And the Boswell disrespect.
He can be like 5th. It's fine.
5th? Damn the disrespect.
Yeah, Hauser, I was about to say that too. Like last season, we were kind of on Kirk Cousins, keeping an eye on those prime times, and he was actually, going back to the last few primetime games, we've been like betting against him and losing, and he's been doing a little bit better on primetime games as of late. So 4-1 in his last 5. Yeah.
Ironically, the one loss was to the Eagles.
There you go.
But also a win against the Eagles.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, let's get to
this will be Sunday night, so I can't wait for everyone to have balanced and not over the top takes as we're watching this game.
It's gonna get spicy, guys. If you guys don't know, we do Sunday Night Football live. Joker. Welcome
All right.
back.
Joker.
20 months.
My man.
Appreciate that, Joker. Thank you so much. Appreciate that love and generosity. Good to have you here.
Got to be excited for that Joker movie coming out.
That's
Is that
right.
coming out soon?
I think so. I heard it. I heard it got bad reviews though.
Did it?
Yeah, I heard it's
I
not
haven't
doing
seen
too
it.
hot. So who knows? It's a musical, isn't it? Isn't it a musical?
Is it like a full-on musical?
I know.
I know. What's her name's Gaga's in it, right?
Yeah. Lady
She's like
Gaga's in
Harley.
there, and then is she Harley Quinn?
I think so. Isn't she?
Or
no?
I have no idea. But yeah, I heard that not a lot of people were digging it, and it's supposed to maybe be a flop. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'll check it out. I'm not a big musical guy when it comes to movies, but can't remember the last musical movie I saw. But anyways, shout out to Joker.
You didn't. What about I don't even know. Can't even think of the movie. Never mind.
Oh boy, not big on a musical. Yeah, it's just not my jam. Can't remember. There was one musical that I actually. What was the rock movie? I think there was like a rock movie that had all like the good classic rock songs. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, are you? I thought you were talking about The Rock, like Dwayne Johnson.
No.
I was like, what?
No,
Are you talking about Rock of Ages?
Rock
Chris?
of Ages was the last musical movie I saw. I think Rock of Ages. It was good. I liked it.
You like that one?
Yeah. So who knows? But
I was thinking of the one with like, what's the one with like Jean Valjean and like, yeah, that was Hugh Jackman was Jean Valjean. Somebody help me out here.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman who did the Greatest
And,
Showman.
what's-
Greatest Showman.
No, but that was a pretty good movie.
That was good.
that was somewhat a musical. But I'm thinking of no, someone help me out. It's actually, I mean, it's a like
Chat.
musical play that turned into a movie.
Oh,
Les Miserables.
Yeah.
Les Miserables.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, I don't have the French speak on there. I don't. But yeah, I've never seen that either. I gotta go check that out. It's worth it?
I don't know. I don't know.
You-
I don't know.
You don't know. It's a trap.
I mean, I saw it. Like, my girlfriend was like in drama in high school at one point and was in that
and you had to go support.
play, so I had to see it
Yeah.
multiple times. Actually.
Oh no, she drug you.
So-
She drug you out to 2 shows. What?
Well, actually, no. I think I saw it once at hers, and then I think my high school, ironically, because we didn't go to the same high school, was doing the same musical that year. So she was like, "Oh, I want to go see theirs to compare and contrast." So we had to go see the one at my school too. Love Me Theater. My brother was actually the lead in a play or a musical at my high school as well, so I had to go see that twice. Because he was oh my gosh, well, like Tony, the Sharks and the Jets. What's that?
Yeah.
He was Tony. What is the Sharks and the Jets? Why am I so bad at remembering the names to these musicals?
West Side Story.
West Side Story. Thank you, Chris.
See, I got that. I got this.
My brother was Tony.
Tony. Hey, Tony.
Doesn't look like a Tony. That would, if you can see me,
Yeah.
vaguely looks like me. So.
Hey, shout out to all the musicals out there. We obviously need to brush up on a few of them, it seems like. All right. Another thing we need to brush up on is Chargers and Steelers. Chargers visiting Pittsburgh. Your boys wreck. Pittsburgh 1.5 point favorites at home against the Chargers. Total set at a low 35.5.
Just such a sad number, Rack. Such a sad number.
The Chargers are plus 100 and the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 120 in this one. And Scotty, we both love a side on this one, and it just happens to be a teaser candidate for both of us as well. Given the low total on this one, anytime you can combine a low total with a ton of points for one team, you do it. And you feel good about it. Now, we have teased up, both you and I have teased up the Los Angeles Chargers to, I believe we have plus 7.5 for them. So I have them teased.
My favorite teaser line of the week.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Chargers, and we also have them paired with the Cincinnati Bengals teased down as well to minus 1.5 just to get a win. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But love the Chargers in this spot in the fact that, we got a team that's really been able to run the ball. J.K. Dobbins has been a really solid piece for them. I mean, they've been taking that Baltimore offense, basically putting it in the Chargers, kind of arsenal, and it's been doing well. But it seems like the scheme is fitting. We had an injury to Justin Herbert, and seems like it's mainly just it's not going to be bothering him too much. It's going to be kind of more of an annoying kind of injury, but it seems like he's going to be playing through it. That still is affecting the total a little bit. Also, key note, Chargers stayed out east for this game. They didn't go home. So they that's going to help them as well, kind of, not having to fly back and forth and be like they're staying put. They stayed on the East Coast. They're going to take this game in. And that's another reason why I feel like the Chargers might have a nice little edge here. But Scotty, what are your thoughts on the Chargers Steelers?
Sorry, my foot turned something off by mistake. My other monitor. I hit the strip, the power strip. I hit the off button with my foot somehow.
Job for those.
Gotta look out for that. This game, I want no part of watching. To be honest with you, it's going
you'll
to
watch
be
it and you will
just
like it.
A miserable grind. Jim Harbaugh is gonna want to turn this into as few possession games as he can and just run the clock and run the ball. And
that's
obviously J.K. Dobbins has had a really good start to the season. We'll see against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense what he can do. On the other side, the Steelers have scored 1 touchdown in 2 games. Both teams are 2-0. I understand that. I'm not saying they're bad teams necessarily. They're just not enjoyable to watch. The the number is 35.5. So it's a no-brainer to tease up a team to 7.5 on such a low number like that, because Vegas is basically calling this like a 17-16 game. No, 17-16 would be what? Like
33.
I guess 33.
19-17.
18-17. 19-17, something like that. So the winning team may not get to 20 in this game, and we can get the Chargers plus 7.5 in a teaser. I will do that all day, every day. So while I don't know who wins this game, I would actually lean Chargers to win this game if I had to pick, but it could go either way in a low scoring battle where this also seems like how the Steelers win game. They make a big play, they get a good bounce, they get something that happens in their direction to put them in a good spot to win. And not that they don't deserve some of those, but they get a fumble with a guy motioning across. That never happens, but it does if the Steelers are playing. So I don't want to watch this game. I don't think it'll be on Red Zone a lot. Because now they show sometimes teams not in the red zone, but these teams will not be in the red zone often, Chris. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a battle. We'll see who comes out on top. Cuban, Scotty, you okay? Why the hospital cup? No, I have stage 4. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
I think it was a cup from when my wife gave birth to one of my children. I think my conspiracy alert. I think my cleaning ladies either stole or threw away all my Chiefs cups. I had 3 Chiefs cups. They're all gone. Or my
and
wife,
nothing of value was lost.
Well, really, I'm just back-to-back Super Bowl champions here, back. Okay.
And nothing of value was lost.
Just a dynasty of a team.
Yeah.
Dynasty of a team, but
so you downgraded to the hospital cup.
I'm also missing my large. Then I moved from the Chiefs cup to one of these some taco place that I had a huge cup. I can't find that now. So now it's really about the size. I want a bigger cup. So
Hey,
so I can
size
drink
isn't
more
all that
water.
matters, Scotty.
With
I mean-
water, I just want a larger water cup, you know?
You get enough baby oil, size is size, right? Anyways.
Anyway,
Scotty's so
I'm-
Hollywood that he has cleaning ladies. No, I don't live in Hollywood. Is cleaning ladies not common?
Yeah.
no,
Really? I don't know.
not
Maybe
for
it's
us
not. I
poor
thought it was-
people.
Well, they're worth it. Do it.
It kind of, yeah, I'll drink to that too. Absolutely.
I mean, you're home all day. You could try cleaning up yourself and
Oh.
save some money.
No,
No
they
shot.
do such a better job than I would do.
No shot.
Come on now, like dusting and like the
Dusting
thorough
isn't
cleaning, like all the stuff they do. No, I'm not. Okay, no, I'm not doing that.
What,
I'm
you afraid of
busy.
being Harrison Butker's worst nightmare or something?
It's okay. Don't take that out of context like everyone else in the world, Rack. I'm gonna fall for that bait. I am happy to do things around the house and I clean up and things like that, but they just listen. This is their profession, all right? They're better at it than I am. You know, it's not like Rack. You're just gonna step onto a football field and be as good as an NFL player. All right. That's why we pay them and not you. That's why I'm paying cleaning ladies. They only come once every 3 weeks. It's not that often.
Just no big deal, right? Hey, we like clean houses, right, Scotty?
My wife loves it when she comes home on those days.
Anyways, this game.
Yeah. So
I think cleaning ladies are more interesting than this game.
yeah, they might be. And again, this game is going to struggle for points, right? Both, I think the under is still, I mean, we're at 35.5. The under is still at play, I think. Like, you could still probably take the under and feel like, yeah, this could probably hit.
Steeler games haven't got to 35.5 this year.
Yeah.
Thus far.
Yeah. Chargers have held their opponents to low totals as well. I think it was 10-3. But they're I mean, look at the opponents. It was Carolina and Raiders, right?
Las Vegas.
Yeah. So yeah, either way, Steelers, and it's just gonna be running the ball over and over and over. That's how the Steelers move the ball. Justin Fields, I don't know if he's gonna be able to just sling it around the field. I don't have the faith that he can. And then also too on the other side, Justin Herbert being hurt, and then they found that relevance in the running game. They've turned themselves into the LA Ravens, basically. So scoring is going to be at a premium in this game. I still think the under is relevant. I, again, with you, have the Chargers teased up to 7.5. So that's where we're going to keep sticking. But both teams have combined to go 4-0 on the under so far this season.
And to be clear, though, Rack, I would like the Steelers to win this game.
Yeah,
I prefer that.
I would say this defensive battle. This would low key be a fun game because you think about the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh took a lot of inspiration from his brother, took over a lot of Ravens, including Dobbins and Gus Edwards. So it's almost like Steelers versus like a poor man's version of Steelers Ravens. Get that physical kind of battle. Yeah, Dobbins, he's been the best rusher in the league, so that'll be interesting to see. Honestly, passing game, I'm not really worried about in the slightest. I'm worried about Dobbins in general. That's my main fear. Like, if the Steelers can find a way to shut him down, they win the game.
I have Dobbins on my bench right now. As great as he's played the first 2 weeks, I have him on my bench.
Not a great matchup this week.
Not a great matchup, and there's no points. So I'm like, it's a tough spot for him.
And keep close. We're not even going to mention the name you just said in the chat. I mean, no.
He did have 2 touchdowns last week.
Neat. Blind squirrel finds an acorn.
Yeah, I would say, Herbert did not practice today. That'll be something to keep an eye out on.
He'll play, right? Like, he's gonna play.
Like, I have a medical doc on Twitter that was like, yeah, he got past the plantar fasciitis stuff, and now this is just like a kind of a sprain, which is something you just monitor, and it's like a day-to-day thing. So he'll play.
They only ask him to throw like 20 times now with the new regime.
Yeah.
It's not quite the like 45 times he was passed under Staley.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Chargers Steelers, not going to be a barn burner by any means, but some relevant betting
Keep
action.
close. How many touchdowns do you have? Offensive touchdowns? Zero.
What about defensive touchdowns?
Maybe one. That would be an
Special
interesting
teams?
bet. Like what if like DraftKings put out a line on like more offensive or defensive touchdowns in this game, you know?
Yeah.
What would the line? I mean, they'd obviously it would still be
Heavily
in offensive favor, but like I'd sprinkle a little something on defensive.
Yeah.
There might be something. All right, let's get to the last game of the evening, and that's the Eagles and the Saints. Saints, you can say, are arguably the hottest team in football based off of how they've been able to put up points on every single drive that they've had in 2 games, which is crazy to think for a Derek Carr run offense and what we thought of the Saints coming into this season. We have Alvin Kamara doing everything, scoring just, like mad numbers when it comes to touchdowns. He had 4 last game, going crazy. They're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 1-1 on the season, and coming into New Orleans. The total 49.5. New Orleans at home, 2.5-point favorites in this one. So this game is another interesting one. Philadelphia plus 120 on the money line.
I don't have a great feel on this one. Obviously, New Orleans plus 62 point differential, by far the best in the NFL through 2 weeks.
Yep.
Granted, one of those was against the Carolina Panthers, but they also blew out the Dallas Cowboys last week. So they played phenomenal football offensively, defensively, all around. I just don't know if I can believe it. Like, I look at their roster, not a lot's changed from last year, Chris. Like, this was a very mediocre at best team last year, and the roster's like the same. Hasn't been a lot of movement. They did get my boy Willie Gay on defense. That's probably what's changing everything on that end of things. But they still have Derek Carr at quarterback. Like, I make him uncomfortable, Philly, and he will turn into mush. I promise you. You get pressure on him in that first quarter, and he will be trash throughout the rest of the game.
Here's a fun little stat. I think the Eagles have 36 pressures over the last couple of games or something, but only 2 sacks on those pressures. Like, they can get pressure, but they can never just get home.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like Kirk Cousins is a guy that's escaping the pocket. Jordan Love maybe slightly more so, but he's not exactly known for that either. So, but Derek Carr's still just, I don't know what's happening right now with the Saints.
It's MVP candidate Derek Carr at this point.
Oh, I'm just sorry, I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
It's week 2, so I don't know if we need an MVP tracker after week 2. Let's let some things settle. But yes, if the season ended after 2 weeks, he would be right in the mix. Philadelphia needs to bounce back from a very, very difficult loss, one they probably shouldn't have. It's a short week. They have to go on the road, so there's a lot of things going against them in this game. Interestingly enough, I heard after their loss on Monday night, Jalen Hurts was the one that spoke in the locker room to the team and not Nick Sirianni. I'm like, what is that dude doing? What is he getting paid for?
Nick Sirianni
is
Did you hear what he
that's an
said
actual
about that?
bottom 5 coach in the league.
Did you hear what Sirianni said about the play where Saquon dropped it?
Like that Jalen Hurts had an out to just get sacked so the clock ran, or what do you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, but it was there. I mean, Jalen Hurts, it was wide open. It was going to get a first down if Saquon catches the
Yeah,
ball. Obviously.
yeah. So why is he blaming Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
No, he's not. He's not blaming Jalen Hurts. I don't think. But I think he was protecting himself. Like, well, if it wasn't there, there was an out. But I think he would agree it was there. Jalen Hurts made a perfect pass, and Saquon just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts does not like Sirianni. They've kind of had these moments where Jalen Hurts is the adult in the room, and he's like, "Hey, you need to chill out. You need to figure out your shit because Sirianni he's just not a mature coach. He's not a good guy to like really lean on for leadership. It seems like I don't know. I just feel like there's some struggles there. But that being said,
probably need Jason Kelsey in that locker room.
You need some sort of leadership. Yeah. So this one, if anything, I want to say that the Saints are inflated because we talked about this on Sunday Night Recap where it's like the Saints start out good. You know, didn't they start out 2-0 last year and they are on their way to like a season where they kind of went 9-7 or I don't know wherever they went.
I mean, they did start 2-0 last year, but they won 16-15 against Tennessee and 20-17 against Carolina last year.
So they start out and they get, fast out the gates. And then I think they kind of slowly come back down to earth. And this division is looking at the box scores is the best in the NFL right now. But I think the Eagles change that here. I would take Eagles plus the points. I mean, at that point, you just take the money line as well, I guess. I think the Eagles can get a win in this one, but I mean, you'll take the points. This was at 3 previously, and I liked it at 3. 2.5 is kind of a tricky number. Obviously, it's one of those key numbers. So I just think that the Saints are heavily inflated. Are they going to be scoring on every possession moving forward? I don't think so. Are the Eagles going to bounce back? They're too talented not to. So I think that there's a chance that the Eagles have a little bit of some success going into New Orleans and kind of mixing it up a little bit. So I didn't bet this game. I left this one alone. It's not one of my bets of the week. And I mean, if anything, I love some of the Alvin Kamara props. 63 total rushing yards, 63.5, I think is where I saw it last. I like the over on that. But other than that, yeah, I'm not really betting too much heavily into this game.
STG says they have a new OC this year, and he's been the difference. Funny you should say that, because you know who their OC is, Chris?
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore?
No, New Orleans? I think he's talking about New Orleans.
Saints. So, yeah, Saints. Yep, Clint Kubiak.
Clint Kubiak. My boy. Coobs. Fun fact, guys, I know Clint Kubiak.
Oh, nice.
He knows me. This is a real story. I mean, he was a year younger than me at my middle school, high school, and we went to the same college. He basically followed me everywhere. But yeah, Clint Coobs.
Why hasn't
doing his thing so
Why
far.
hasn't he been a guest on our show?
I mean, I haven't talked to him since college, so it's been a little bit.
Tell him you know receivers coach to help him develop more guys than just Olave.
Well, maybe you need guys that are developable. Oh, you mean that you want to be? I get it. Yeah, right. I'll put in a word.
Yay.
But yeah, he's doing his thing. I mean, he's been an offensive coordinator. He was offensive coordinator of the Vikings several years back as well. But then he spent like last year with San Fran. Probably picked up some stuff from the Shanahan line of things. I think he was QB coach and like passing game coordinator or something. So far so good. Like we talked about, the Saints finally moved off the Sean Payton offense this offseason, and so far the results have been pretty positive for them, Chris.
We'll see if it keeps going that way. We'll see if the Eagles can slow it down a little bit, because right now Saints are on a roll. All right, so there you go. Those are our top games of the week that we are looking forward to, outside of, obviously, we always cover the Broncos. And the Steelers game, obviously, too. Maybe there's a couple weird ones in there. But either way.
Steelers always play good close games.
Yeah, they're just close games like 3-6.
I would say they're close games. I don't know if they're good games. They're close games.
That was a good game.
Hauser asked, do you guys still have a guest on Sunday nights? We haven't done that yet. Are we doing that? I don't even know.
We could line up.
I mean-
Who do we got? We got Chiefs, obviously. You.
We could bring in the guy that just popped in, Hoel. We could try bring a Charlie back.
I mean,
We don't know any Falcons people, I don't think.
well, Hauser's a Falcons person.
Is Hauser's the Falcons?
Yeah,
Hauser.
Hauser loves the Falcons. Hauser, if you want to come in,
If you want, Hauser, if you want to join in for a fan face-off, hell yeah.
Just, hey, no crying. There's 2 rules. No crying when your team loses. And 2, no complaining that the refs are on the Chiefs side. Those are the 2 rules.
Always complain about the refs being on the Chiefs side.
They're not. They're just not. That's just sorry the Chiefs win all the time.
we'll see what happens. I mean, Hauser's
We
boys.
got through this pretty quick.
Hauser's boys. Cowgirls going to catch a beatdown, says Joker. This will be a fun one. Ravens Cowboys will be a fun one. Let's get to our best bets of the week because we didn't cover all of them, but let's go ahead. Scotty, I'll let you run down all of yours. I think we covered all of them except for Cincinnati as a part of your other teaser. So go ahead, run down all of yours as a refresher, and then also Tennessee. Yeah, we both have 2 of the same bets this week.
Yes.
Yes.
So we'll see how that goes, Chris. With Tennessee and the teaser of Chargers Cincinnati. So Tennessee at home against the Green Bay Packers. Listen, if Will Levis just doesn't do dumb shit, Tennessee should win this game outright.
Yes.
And that's asking a lot, to be honest. But listen, Green Bay won in smoke and mirrors last week. What they threw the ball like 14 times and ran the ball 53 times. I have a hard time believing that can work again with Malik Willis at quarterback. And you have a Tennessee team that's 0-2. Chris, trend alert.
Trend alert. Yep. Absolutely.
That has been in both of their games, and Will Levis has decided to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in both of those. So if he can stop being an idiot, I actually think Tennessee right now with Jordan Love out is the better team in this one, and should be able to cover 2.5 against a quarterback. Now Malik Willis, you do have some like revenge factor storyline at play. Obviously drafted by Tennessee. And I don't even remember, was he traded or was he just cut outright?
He was traded for a 7th round pick.
Okay, so basically,
yeah.
But traded for a 7th rounder. So maybe I'm sure he has some motivation to play well against his former team, but like he's just not good. He's really, really, really not good at football, Chris. So like a rare week where Will Levis is the better quarterback in the game at home, only needs to win by a field goal against a team that refuses to throw the football.
Yeah.
Just don't make a dumb decision, Will Levis, and you guys win this football game.
Yeah, for the same reasons too. 70% of the tickets are on the Packers, and that was when it was at +3. It's dropped to 2.5. And that's what we got it at. Tennessee -2.5. And so 0-2 teams trend, like Scotty said, 52-33-1, 61% against the spread. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Tennessee feels good here. Keep going with the rest of your pick, Scotty.
I think all the other ones I've talked about, Chris.
Cincinnati, we talked about
Cincinnati. Yeah, 2 Monday night games this week. They are I think they're the second, but technically they're only start 45 minutes apart or something from each other. Cincinnati at home against Washington. First Jaden Daniels game in the limelight. You have a Bengals team that this feels like a must-win situation. 0-2. very winnable game against a Washington team that's up and coming a little bit and growing, but still going, trying to figure stuff out. Still not a very good team at this juncture. Since he's just at -1.5, we're just win the game basically. I think the Bengals bounce back. Not necessarily bounce back. They played pretty well last week, but focus, do their business, and get a win at home on Monday night against the Commanders.
Yeah. So then you still have Atlanta +3.5, Minnesota tees with Dallas +8.5, and Dallas +1.5.
Plus.
Or plus
Seven.
7.5. Sorry.
That's 7.
The 7. It looks like a 1. I'm mirroring you on the Tennessee -2.5. I also have the teaser with the Chargers and the Bengals as well. Two others that I like. Speaking of the Cincinnati Bengals, even if you gave me the Cincinnati Bengals at 7.5, I probably would lean 7.5 in favor of the Bengals. Even just straight up, I like the security, Scotty. I like a little bit of a little net, a little catch for me to make it a little bit more comfortable. So why not tease it down? It's a good number and it fits. All right. So the other game that I like is I like the under in the Seattle and Miami game. Now we have Tua's injury, so we have Skylar Thompson coming in. So that's going to be kind of an interesting adjustment for Mike McDaniel and that Seattle team, which I think they're going to rely a little bit more on the ground, try to run the ball a little bit. I think Seattle is also a team that I feel like, may on the. I just feel like the Seattle Seahawks may struggle a little bit to score as well. The Miami defense isn't like, they're good, they're fine. So Seattle run D still's kind of iffy, but I think that's why the Miami Dolphins are going to run a little bit more, knowing that Skylar Thompson can't do much in the air. Tyreek Hill, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much he's gonna. I'm worried about fantasy value for Tyreek Hill based off of the change at quarterback. So I'm kind of hesitant there. And Mike McDonald knows how to shut down this Miami attack. I feel like this is going to be a low scoring game. Lots of weird variables going into it. Under for Miami, Seattle. And then finally, New England team total under 16.5. New England team total. This is going to be a rough outing for them. They're pretty much gambling. Will New England score 2 touchdowns? And I don't think they will. I don't think they can score 2 touchdowns in this game. This is a division game on a short week, and I still don't believe that New England has their offensive line in a good place. Also, too, I just think that this defense is a little bit better, and I think New England's going to struggle to score. Jets, decent defense, right? Home field advantage, short week, prime time. Aaron Rodgers. I think they control the time of possession here. Breece Hall's going to be heavy, and I just think that they're just going to, just slow the game down a little bit. So New England's not going to have as much to go down the field as often, and even when they do, I don't think they're going to have success. So that being said, I think that the Patriots score maybe 13 points in this game. I like the under 16.5 for my final best bet of the week.
All right. Just disrespecting Jacoby Brissett.
just yeah,
the dominant Jacoby Brissett.
The dominant Jacoby Brissett. So team totals. I haven't done a team total here in a long time, so might as well throw it out there. But there you have it, guys. There's our best bets of the week. Do with that information what you will. By the way, we didn't talk a lot about this, but other teaser candidates. So we have the Chargers, the Bengals. In case you want to keep tabs on these, all teaser candidates. The Chargers, the Bengals, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Cowboys, all in the realm of those are those are different teaser options that we like. Scotty, I think you like a few of those as well. So make sure you guys, if you're out there checking on maybe pairing some teams and kind of mixing and matching, those are some options for you. Here's a better bet: Chicago Indy under. Chicago Indy under. What's that Chicago Indy total?
That's 43.5.
Yeah, it's like both like Richardson and Williams. They have the ability to get to that score, but they don't have the mechanics or the intangibles or anything like that. Like all they have is just like pure raw talent.
Indy's defense is pretty bad. This might be
Yeah.
finally the week where like Caleb Williams figures some stuff out.
Yeah,
And I think Anthony Richardson, for whatever reason, likes playing at home and plays much better at home than he does on the road right now. So it might be a good bet. I'm not saying it's not, but
yeah.
It's a little.
Honestly, I could see that one. I could see that one being like a turnover fest.
yeah, that's not always a great thing for the under, depending on what happens on those turnovers. But
Especially the possession where the ball is, field position wise. Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's the show. So we have our best bets. We have all of our top games all covered. We will not have a show tomorrow. So, because Scotty and I will be in the montañas. We'll be in the mountains, chilling with a packed house. So, that being said, the next time you will see us is on Sunday nights. Sunday Night Football live. We got the Chiefs. We got the Falcons. Hey, we might do a little bit of a guest. We might have Hauser coming in, joining us, along with maybe, another Chiefs fan if it's not Scotty. But, guys, it's great to have you here each and every single week.